Hello, hello, hello. Whoop. Hello. Hi, you guys. We are all live. We're live. I'm super excited to do this tutorial with you guys. Let me get everything pulled up here. Let's see, where can I find this tutorial? Just about everywhere. Okay. Sorry if you're already on. I am. Facebook just told me I forgot my password, so let's go. Yep. Okay. That's not it. Hello, I'm feeling much better, thank you. Still kind of weird, so I don't know if you guys remember hi Sandy, I don't know if you guys remember a couple years ago, I got a really bad case of vertigo, and since then I've always had vertigo, like chronic vertigo, but not bad, real mild. And it came back really bad. And that happens, I think, when you would know the something oak is, I don't know, the allergy season. So it was my first allergies I ever had a couple years ago, and that turned into vertigo and chronic vertigo and all that. And so I think I've just been adjusting to that. And then of course there's the stress and the pressure of buying a new home, and you know, that's just as exciting as it is with this one. It's bittersweet because we didn't really want to leave downtown. But we're excited, you know, to have our home again and have a pool and all that. But yeah, I feel better, not perfect, but better. So I think with the vertigo, I won't feel perfect for a while, but I just start to figure out how to live with that until it goes away. I'm always hyped up on Sudafed because of it. So, okay. Facebook's not allowing me to log in. Oh, there we are, Kara. Hi, there I am. Yep. Because I don't remember my password. So let me look up my password real quick because I have it here. Nope, that's not it. Oh, well, whatever. I'll just let you guys do all the talking. Okay, I won't worry about it. But I did want to see how we're looking on camera. That was the problem. That's what I wanted to see. So I'll just go on to YouTube. Yeah, we'll just do that. Or Patreon. Let me go on to Patreon. All right, sorry you guys. Sorry about all this gibberish or lack of gibberish. Hi Luann, how are you? Okay. All right, here we are, and hit that, and I'm in. Okay, there we are. So now I can see what at least I can see what the thing looks like when I put it down. That's what I really want. Okay, so today, landscape watercolor. I became obsessed with this a while back, and I've been playing with it and practicing and just doing lots of different things with it and not really sharing much. I've sold 2 of these out of my bin, you guys, in my space. Like I've been doing them on art boards, and I just put them in there with a piece of cardboard behind it, not even with a so it's a watercolor artboard, and I just put them in there, and I've sold 2 of them, but I haven't shown you guys because I wanted it to be a surprise. Okay, all right. So this is what we're doing. So here's another one that's just kind of earthy, and I'm not really all that fond of that, but it's just this is a very different technique than the first one I showed you. Here's another one. I do like this one. And then here's another one. I do like this one. I just don't like how pink it is. but that's what we're gonna do today. Okay, and down here you can see I added a little bit of artsy stuff. Really, I like this where it's just very, very abstract, you know? But we are gonna do that today. I'm gonna put these here so I can have just a little reminder. You know what I love about watercolor? I love that you can do it anywhere and not get messy. And you can take it anywhere. You can take, there's all sorts of little kits that you can take on a plane. I'm gonna start packing up a lot of my art supplies, and so, but I'll leave the watercolor out. I hate it when people drink on camera, but I just did it. Okay, I have tube watercolors. You need tube watercolors for what we're gonna do today. They need to be tube, okay? And you could do it with probably acrylic paint as well. I have a spray bottle. I have a very soft brush. What is this called? They called this something, I forget, but it's just a very soft brush that's gonna hold hold water, and it has a nice fine end, so I'm gonna be able to go along the edges and kind of play with it that way. I have the bottom of a plate to put my, see, you don't need a real watercolor palette or anything, and I've got 2 jars of water, and I've got some extra brushes just to add, you know, if I want to add something. Okay, and then the most important thing is I have chopped up credit cards or room keys. This is an AT&T card, AT&T gift card, but chopped up cards. Okay, so that's kind of key. All right, what else do I have? Anything else? And my paper, my watercolor board. I like using these. They come in a thing like this. The reason why I like using these is because we're gonna pick this up and move it around, and they don't really warp so much, right? A little bit, but not a lot, like paper. Otherwise, you do have to tape it onto something and then have something below it for the water to drip on, because it's very messy as far as watercolors are concerned. Okay? All right. Hello, Monica. All right, I'm gonna put you down. I'm not gonna put you down. I'm gonna lower the camera. I would never put you down. I'm gonna try to do it this way, and so you can just look at what I'm doing. Don't look at that. I'm just being silly, you guys. Yeah, so that angle, good. And I can even move that way. Scoot over. All right, that works for me. Hopefully it works for you. Put my glasses on. Okay, so my water is right here. It's right out of view for you guys. My page is here, my watercolors are here. So first things first, let's figure out what colors we want to use. I like these to be pretty earthy, like that one I showed you that had all the pink in it. Ugh, not so much, I didn't love it. But I do like the teal in it and maybe a dot of pink in it. This one has a little tiny pink in it, and I really, really like that one. Okay, all right, so I'm going to get a dark brown, burnt umber maybe. Burnt umber, let's see, raw umber. I'm gonna get burnt umber. Yeah, that's the least red one. Raw umber is more red, I think. And I'm going to get a little bit of black, but I'm not gonna put those right next to each other. Oh, maybe I didn't use any black. Maybe I used gray. So that's not even open. Yeah. So I'm just gonna get the gray, not the black. No, I'll get black. No, let's do gray. I used my other set is what it was. And I'm just tapping it down here just a little bit on the plate. I'm gonna put in a green. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. And for this one, I'm gonna put in maybe a little coral. I'll try it. I have not tried this. Open it up. I had to get a new set of watercolors because my watercolors, I left them out in my studio when it froze on accident. Put that there. And it's okay if they blend together for this. And then let's get a blue. Let's get this Prussian blue. Prussian blue. And maybe I'll just do a little tiny tad bit. I did that coral, just a little dab of pink. Oh, that's so pink. Just a little dab. Okay, so I'm gonna take that away, take that to the side over here. Hopefully you'll still be able to see it. All right, I'm gonna paint sideways a little bit. So I'm gonna take this brush and get it nice and wet. And I'm gonna decide where I want my first line of landscape to be. And I think I'm gonna have it be kind of just like the one I just showed you, right here. All right, and I'm gonna get that whole top of the page wet. Maybe angle it off. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my card and I'm just gonna dab it so it's just got some paint on it. And I'm gonna lean over so I can see where the wet starts. And I'm just, oh, there's my hair. My hair gets everywhere. It's time for a haircut. And I'm just gonna dab it in here. And it's not bleeding that much because it's not that wet. It's bleeding, but not that much. Oh, that is gonna be a pretty one. And I'm just gonna fill in any spot that maybe needs a little bit extra. Maybe, and wipe this off, and maybe I need a little bit more of that pink in a few places. Okay, so I'm gonna just put that aside. Now, I'm gonna take this brush again, and I'm not gonna touch the paint with this brush, but I'm gonna get right up at that edge to where that water is gonna bleed into that when I lean my paper down. Well, I lied, I did touch that paint because that paint's already bleeding beautifully. And now I'm gonna get that water in there. It's not gonna go across it, and now we're gonna bleed it. We're gonna let it bleed, let it bleed. Okay, we're gonna move it. And then if it doesn't want to move, like this isn't wanting to move that much, I'm gonna, it's not moving. So I'm gonna spray it in the direction that I want. Oh, there it goes. So I made a big faux pas, and I didn't want this to be wet down here. So I'm gonna dry that because I don't want it to bleed down there yet. But you can see now it's doing what I want it to do. I don't want it to bleed, like I want to control that a little bit. Okay, so there we go. So now it's doing what I want it to do. And I shouldn't have sprayed it. I should have just added more water and done that. Okay, so I'm gonna let that run all over the place. Gonna let all of that color get up, 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 up there. And maybe even move some of it like this. Get that going in all sorts of different directions. Here we go. I'm gonna get some more water. So see, it takes a lot of water. Drip it in there. Here we go. gonna get it down into it and then back that way. Now you can see there's a little water underneath, and that's good because then that's gonna create some reflections as I draw it down this way, but I don't want it to go too far. I just want it to be a little bit. Okay, good. Is that fun to watch? Okay, so I'm super happy with that now, but now I don't want this to be like so tall, so I'm going to kind of blend it here. Okay. And just kind of blend some of this out here. Okay. And then I can go in a little bit and add some sky or whatever. Or what I can do is I can just dab some of that blue onto this brush and get it on my brush. And just add some sky in there. Okay, so I'm just gonna go all the way over there with this wet brush and add some just, it's very faint, you guys. You're probably not even gonna be able to see it because we want this to look really abstract, so it's super faint. Okay, so now the next step for this one is to do, so this is bleeding a little bit right here, which is lovely because that's gonna look like a nice reflection there. Okay, so now I wanna go just kind of, don't have a big plan. Okay, but from there I'm going to take it down and I'm going to go around here and maybe take that kind of around up here. Now I'm going to wet all the way down. I got to go at an angle so I can see what part I wet, and then I'm going to sit here at an angle so I can see what part's wet and where I need to get my credit card on there. This is like one of the most fun ways to create, you guys. And I'm gonna put a little bit more pink on there because I did like that little dab of pink on this one. Sometimes it's just too much, but not this time. Where's my card that I was using? Oh, here it is. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect in here. Doesn't have to have a rhyme or reason, but I do have to get an angle, at an angle so I can see where that wetness starts. All right, wipe that off. Okay, this one isn't as runny anymore, so now I can play with it with the water on the bottom, or at least that's my hope, that the top isn't as runny. I'm gonna get that water right up in there. Right up in there. I'm gonna move this because I don't want such sharp angles that I got on that card, so I am gonna move it a little bit. The card, you know, the card gave it a kind of a sharp angle, so I'm just gonna move this just to get rid of that sharp angle. Clean off my brush. And here we go. Okay. So see, I'm just moving the paint. Isn't that pretty, you guys? Just let it roll. And I'm I'm just gonna blend this in because I don't like that little spot right there. Blend that in. And just let that be like that. Okay, so I like that. Then on this one, I'm gonna make, this is very wet right now, so I'm just gonna take a smaller credit card and I'm gonna take a gray, maybe a gray and a black. This is gray. Looks pretty black to me. Oh, it's Payne's gray, so it's a blue black is what it is actually. That's what Payne's gray is. And a black. And I think I'll just mix some white in there with it because that'll help get some texture. I gotta do this kind of fast though while the paper's wet. All right, smaller one and a little bit of the Payne's gray and a little bit of the white. Let's see how that works out. Just dabbing it on. Just get a little bit more white in there. Take some of that off. So we have like little rock formations here. Isn't that pretty, you guys? Oh, it's so fun to play with. So fun. And of course you have your paper towel, so like I can go in here and go like, okay, that's a little bit much of the black, so take some of that off. And then just let it roll, let it rip. Let her rip. And so now I'm gonna dry off this brush and I'm just gonna wipe some of that back so we're not dripping anymore. I'm gonna tap in some more blue and maybe even some light blue. With a wet brush up here. There we go. So then what you can do here, while this is almost dry, you can take a little stick, and I don't have one with me, or this probably will work, and you can start kind of drawing in faint little trees. Yeah, this is working. Because there's still a lot of watercolor on this, on the paper. Let me see if I can do it with the edge here. Yeah, this is working. This is me just actually scratching the paper. Just to kind of give it a little bit more interest. And of course you can go in with a little Sharpie or marker and, you know, do the same thing. But I like this because it still keeps it in that kind of abstract vein, just pulling some of that up. You can see on one of them, on one of mine, I did paint in some little trees. So like on that one, I painted in some trees. All right, let's do another one while that one's drying. Okay, and I would like go in and go, okay, I'm gonna clean some of this up. Still wet, so I can do that. I love it. Isn't that pretty, you guys? It's so surreal. Like, it's just so, this is so fun to play with. So fun to play with. Are you guys talking? Why are you not covering the entire board? Because I only wanted, like here, this looks like a frozen lake to me. So I wanted that white, right? Like a frozen white lake. So I don't want it to bleed there. Only place where I'm putting water is where I want the paint to flow. Okay, that's where I want the paint to flow. So we're going to attempt to make a winter gray mountain. Now it's going to be an attempt. Did I say it's going to be an attempt? It's going to be an attempt. All right. So we have another board here, and I have my black and my gray and my white. So we're gonna start with that, okay? I'm gonna get that watercolor brush, that little, what do they call this? Why can't I remember? Okay, and we're going to just kind of do a horizon line way up here of mountains. Let's just do it straight across. Okay, all right, and then I'm gonna get my little credit card and I'm just gonna put it in the gray, the black, and the Payne's gray, and the white. I'm gonna lean down so I can see where the water is on my page. Let's get some more white in there. Okay. It's already bleeding, but it needs to bleed a lot more than that, okay? The reason why you put the water there is because it's going to go up where the water is. It's not gonna go down where the water is not. So that's why we make that line of water, okay? And now I'm just gonna put a lot of water on this page and I'm going to roll it down just to touch into the paint. This was all by trial and error. The first time I tried it, it was a disaster. But it was fun. And it was pretty. It was a beautiful disaster. Like us, right? Just let it get nice and watery. Okay, and then I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, I need some more paint on there maybe. You can see right there, there's no water. And so it's avoiding that spot. I'll just leave it there and see what that looks like. Maybe it'll look like a tunnel or something. I need to get a little bit more paint on there. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, whoa, that paint's not going anywhere. So I need to get a little bit more in there. The credit card like really helps you to not paint, right? It helps you to not be so literal. Because no matter what, if I'm using paint, I'm gonna try to paint a mountain, right? And I don't want to try to paint a mountain. I want it to look very abstract. And then maybe in that case, it's not gonna be a mountain. Maybe it's going to be trees or, you know, whatever it comes out to look like, that's what it's gonna be. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna get the water back into this paint again and get more paint to move. And then I'm gonna take a dry brush and I'm gonna take some of this water off. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Okay, I'm gonna dry this brush. Drying it in my lap. And I'm gonna take this off. Okay, so this is kind of taking water off. But it still wants to bleed and I'm totally okay with that. Taking some more off here. Just to give it some more depth, okay? Or not depth, but so it's not one line, right? I want it to be like mountains. There. Oh, really good. Okay, so that is good. I'm very happy with that. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry because I don't want to mess with it. I will put some blue up in there maybe. But it looks like gray mountains in, you know, a wintry scene in the background, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come down here and I'm going to try to paint more wintry scenes, right? And this is where it's not gonna be so abstract, but I'm gonna try and get the colors out that I think, you know, so it's gonna be browns and maybe some muted green, because winter, you know, blah, blah, blah. So brown everywhere. Unless you're in California or Florida, and then it's never brown there, and I miss that. I must say, I do miss that. I'm jealous of y'all. Is that the one that I just put on? That's the one I just put on. Let's try some burnt umber. That's orangish. I'm gonna get some white on here and mix it with these colors. Oh, I don't know. And I'm just gonna make like some hills, I guess. So just bear with me here. This is dry on wet, and I should have probably put wet on wet. So let's do some of that. And I'll just go ahead and wet this down after, since it's not all the way dry, and hopefully I can make it look okay. Just little layers. Here's a different color, brown, to get in there. And then I'll touch the green in there just to get some muted green in here. You know, like green going dead. You touch that green. Okay. All right. Now I'm just gonna get a little bit of blue really watered down in here. Oh, that is not watered down enough. That's way too blue. I'm not gonna touch up here. I don't want it to bleed. Sorry. just to give it the look of water. And then once it's in here and it starts to dry, if I just do this in this direction, it's gonna give it the look of water. Okay, we need this to dry now. This is a problem because, okay, I'm gonna touch just a tiny bit of, believe it or not, pink in there. And then I'm gonna mix that pink with some brown, just to soften the shoreline here. So I'm just mixing it in with the brown. And then I'll get some of that up in here. So we've got some of the reflections of all the brown, yucky winter. And there we go. All right, so dry. I'm gonna fan this and hopefully I can get it dry enough to where I can start working on it. We're gonna fangirl it. So something that you can do when it's just moist, but not terribly wet, is add salt. So I think right now might be a good time. And when you add salt, it soaks up. So I'm just gonna add it to these areas. I may have done it too late. It soaks up some of the paint and water, and it gives you like little, like ice crystals. I may have done it too late, but I might get some. Oh, I think I'm gonna get some up there. So let's do a little bit more. And then after I paint the rest on here, I'll add some more salt. All right, dry, 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 dry. I love adding salt to my watercolors. Yes. So fun. So fun. And I like up here, I love adding just little, I wish I had a toothpick, little lines that just symbolize trees. Symbolize, right? It's just the idea of a tree. So this is still damp, so I'm just kind of blending it in. Some need to be taller and some shorter. And of course, wow, I mean, you just do you. You can go and add more things, right? So pretty. Okay, it's a little wet. Let me see if I can dab it. Okay, I'm gonna start painting with dry on dry now. Now dry on damp is what the reality of it is. But I don't want a lot of water on my brush because I want this to show up. So I'm gonna be going back and forth between the brown and the black. And I'm gonna go with a very loose hand, meaning I'm not gonna hold the brush up close. I'm gonna hold it at the end of the brush. And I think a mistake that I would have made in the past is I would not have taken this all the way into up here. I would have stopped, but it needs to go up all the way over the horizon line because that's how you're looking at it from close. It's going to cover that horizon line. So this is dry watercolor. Like, the best is dry on dry for this part of it. This is dry on a little damp. And I am going between black and brown just to give it depth. I'm doing this really fast, you guys. Oop, that's blue. That's the Payne's gray. That's interesting. Go over here to the black. Okay. And now, let's just make those kind of connect a little bit. And now I'm going to go over this with some more color on here. And we're going to move around that salt. Some more like dull green. Oh, that's good right there. I'm going to kind of go over it and let this all bleed together. This is like the dull green and the black mixed together. And then I'm going to take that green, I'm going to mix it with some brown. And I'm going to start doing some kind of grass strokes. It's okay that it's wet, and I like how wet it is right there, and in a second I'm going to add some more salt right there. But you guys won't be able to see the salt, the effects of the salt right now, because it takes a minute. It takes a hot minute. And some of them are going to be very faint, and that's okay because you want it that way because you can't see it all, right? Where is that green? I'm going to add a little bit more salt right over here because that looks like it's the perfect wetness. I've played with that so much that I think I miss it a lot, the perfect wetness. I know what it is, and then I'm painting and I get excited, and then it's just not. I missed it. I missed the opportunity. I'm going to add a little water down here so I can add some of the salt in a minute. So that water I'm adding just so I can add some salt. get some salt grasses up here. Let's get these going up here. We're just about done, I think. Let me mix another color of green, brown. And then if the salt doesn't work, right? So if it just doesn't work for you, get some of this brown in here. Then if you have 2B watercolors, it's very easy to make a splatter with the white. And so once everything dries, just make a splatter and splat, splat, splat some little white dots on. And then it looks like little bits of snow or frost or whatever. I love one of the things that's white that I just put on there. One of the things I love about tube watercolors is the white, because it can come off really thick if you want it to. All right, I'm gonna put some salt right there where I said, hopefully that'll be the right amount of wetness. Add some salt just in case I can get some icicles on there. Oh, let's get it on that tree. Okay, and that salt has to sit there for quite a while, and it will, while it's sitting there, it will soak up, you know, the love, soak up the love. But this is like, the water is very faint blue because there's not a lot of blue in the sky. I mean, if I wanted to, I could add a little tiny bit of blue up there. And so maybe I'll do that. Is just put some water on here. The rest of it's dry, so it's not going to bleed anymore. And just get that watery blue and just, yeah, that's nice. And just kind of tuck it in there. But the sky is not very blue because it's a kind of a gray day. So I don't want a lot of it in there, just a little faintness. And this is ice. And there's just a little tiny bit of blue reflection in there. That is nice. Just add a little bit more blue here. That's too much. Let me water it down. I think I'd rather have, this is not the right brush to do this, obviously. This is for painting flowers and grass. I think I'd rather have a little bit of gray in there, so let's do that. Watered down gray. There we go. Let's get it in here too. Kind of ignored that spot. But you can take paint off watercolor so easy. And just doing this is going to give me some more lines in that water. And I don't know if you guys know this, I've talked about it lots of times, that the Mr. Clean, the eraser, the cleaning erasers are so good at lifting watercolor that you can really erase it right off with those. So if there's something that bothers you about your art, you can always do that. Anyways, that's that, you guys. I can't pick it up and show you because, but there it is. Oh, I think it's very alluring. Here's the other one. Oh, here, let me put the light down. You can see it better. Here's the other one. Pretty, 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 pretty. I like them a lot. I like doing these a lot. It's super fun. I wonder if the salt is working. We will only know tomorrow when I take the salt off. All right, I think that is that, you guys. Woohoo! Are you guys gonna try it? Who's gonna try it? That's what I wanna know. Who's gonna do it? I know Lonnie's been doing this, and she's been doing it a lot, so I know she's gonna do one. Are you guys gonna try one? Sandy is, yay! You will try it too, Monica, yay! Oh, Michelle, you'll try it tomorrow. Good, good. Yes, Karen. Yes, Luann. Try. Hi, Karen. Yes, try the salt. It's so good. What size are these water boards? They are, let's see, let me get the container. They're 8 by 10, which is great for framing because you can pop them right in a frame. And they are Canson. I got these at Michael's. Canson watercolor art boards. I love it. Yes, I will post a picture, Michelle, I promise. Okay? All right, you guys, thank you for being here with me, and I'm really, really sorry about happy hour and all that. I'm feeling a lot better, and so we will have happy hour this week, and we're all good. Okay? Mwah! I appreciate you guys so much. Bye, guys.